White House Deputy Chief of Staff and a Fox News contributor. Karl, always good to see you. So this effort includes you, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, and the former Vice President Dan Quayle. Why get involved in this, Karl, and how important is it?
Well, it's vital to whoever controls the United States Senate will have a big impact on the direction of public policy in the United States over the next 2 and 4 years. And I was asked by the chairman of the Senate Republican Campaign Committee, Todd Young of Indiana, to head up this effort. Mine's more of managerial responsibility, and we'll be announcing the state chairs and the bundlers and the honorary chairs and the national leadership of this effort here in coming days. But we're rapidly trying to pull together a nationwide organization to help do in a matter of 7 weeks what takes most campaigns a couple of years to get done, and that is raise money from across the country to fund these vital races.
And is that the deal? Is that, you know that Democrats, a lot of political analysts have said the money flowing into Georgia will be unprecedented over the next several weeks, and Democrats have got a pretty good start on this thing. Is that part of the equation here, Karl, is that you believe you might be a little bit behind going in?
Well, look, the Democrats showed in this past election, I mean, think about it. They spent $80 million to try and defeat Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. They spent almost that amount of money to defeat Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. Failed, obviously. One guy in California, a wealthy Silicon Valley type, put $28 million into Texas in the last couple of weeks to try to defeat Senator John Cornyn. Mike Bloomberg famously put $100 million into Florida to try and carry it for Joe Biden. So there are lots of wealthy liberals on either coast who are willing to pop money into these races, and we fully expect that both Senator David Perdue and Senator Kelly Loeffler will be outspent by the Democrats. But it's not who's got the most money, who's got sufficient money and wise in spending it. And I'm confident at the end of the day we'll both have sufficient money and our team will spend it better. But nobody should kid themselves. We are going to be outspent in Georgia, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, when you said we've got to pile on, that's a quote, when you said we've got to pile it on big time, you were talking about the money?
Yeah, and also the ground game. I mean, we've got to get out the vote, and I know that both candidates have talked to their teams. Both candidates are keenly aware of this. They're volunteers now today knocking on doors in Georgia. They've got a gigantic get out the vote operation, but we've got to put every bit of energy and effort into it to win this to win these races and come out the victors and be in the majority in the Senate by a slim 52-48 margin.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive, Karl, and it's going to be ugly. I want to put this up on the screen for you. This is from, an opponent. This is from a Senate Majority PAC that writes the following, quoting here: the Georgia Republican ticket is made up of a pair of corrupt, out-of-touch politicians who profited off the pandemic and will stop at nothing to take away Georgians' health care. It's clear that David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler aren't ready for prime time, and we're focused on exposing their records in the months to come. So this is going to be contentious, Karl.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, both of these people have been cleared by the Senate Ethics Commission of having done anything wrong. They did everything right in handling their financial affairs. Been cleared by a bipartisan committee on a unanimous vote. But this is the kind of trash that's going to be coming their way, and we ought to be prepared for it. If you can't talk about the issues, if your party represents sort of taking over government and takeover of health care and gigantic tax increases and the Green New Deal and ending, raising utility bills and raising costs for driving your car, you don't have much to talk about. So go throw a bunch of mud on the Republicans, and we expect that to happen each and every day in the 40-some-odd days remaining.
You talked about the ground game, Karl. What do you make of these California Democrats saying they also plan to go to Georgia, start their own ground game? And then you have people saying we're going to move to Georgia and maybe set up residency. And we had earlier on the Secretary of State there saying, no, that's not going to happen. We are going to prosecute you if you do that. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, think about it. A Democratic presidential candidate, Andrew Yang, says he's going to move to Georgia in order to vote in the election and then leave. And you're right. Californians are planning to come to Georgia. I recommend to your viewers, enter your browser, enter Washington Post TikTok guy, Georgia, and you will see a video that a California Democrat has put up of him calling supposedly a voter in Georgia with a fake Georgia accent and calling him on a Sunday to get him to vote for Warnock and Ossoff, the two Democratic candidates. And then after he's hanging up, having his West Coast voice back again. It's very funny, but it's an indicative of how condescending and elitist these California Democrats seem to be about the people of Georgia. They need the good helping hand of a Georgian, of a California liberal in order to help them vote right. But I recommend it to you. Washington Post, TikTok guy, Georgia. It's indicative of what the attitude is of these Californians who are coming to Georgia to help save them from voting for Republicans.
Noted. Karl Rove, good to see you, sir. Thank you.